Welcome to Season 3, Episode 23 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, and with me is my co-host Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
Huma huma nuka nuka apua. Yeah, bitch!
Wow. You got it down.
I had to watch that scene multiple times. And
Did you?
The YouTube explanator, and then I had to break it out phonetically so I could really read it off.
That makes more sense to me, because I was like, that's it. Like, I even looked at IMDb quotes with it, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I don't think I could still reproduce it.
I've been practicing.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
It's less impressive than the English name, which is just Triggerfish. But, so, yeah, I did it.
I don't know. I kind of like that. I'm not going to say. Although I think I would raise an eyebrow if I saw that on a menu.
Triggerfish?
Because that's different. Like, you don't usually see that on a fish
menu.
You
don't look at the fish section anyway.
No, but I know the rest of my family like fish, so I kind of kept the.
You're looking out for us. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I kind of hear what you guys are eating, you know. But
salmon,
yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, no, not interesting, right?
Okay.
It'd be more different. It's like I got the sea bass. It's like, oh, that's a little bit different. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So I'm impressed. That's good. And by the way, that line, yeah, hilarious. And that actor saying it is just really funny.
Yeah.
I want someone to go snorkeling with me. So what did we see, Patrick?
We watched the funniest movie of 2008.
Oh.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
It is definitely top 3, but disagree, but okay.
Number 1.
With a bullet for you. Look at you.
It's frankly not even close.
Wow, that's strong. Strong words.
You know, I'm not a big movie rewatcher guy. I used to be.
Same, I used to be more.
There's just so many movies now that I'm like, I don't have time to keep up with.
This
is a movie I am laughing at no matter how many times I've seen it. I just rewatched it, I don't know, less than a year ago. Yeah. And I'm still laughing at I'm catching things I never saw before. This movie is fantastic. It's amazing.
It is really good.
And not only is it just like, laugh out loud funny constantly, it tells a decent, human character story where all these characters are not like just one-dimensional nonsense.
For sure. It's definitely a deeper story comedy-wise, but I don't think necessarily comedy is a genre where you need that, but I get what you're saying.
You don't need it, but it's better if you have it.
I guess. I don't know. I think comedy's mission is to make you laugh, and if it's making you laugh, then I can forgive and forget a lot of it. But I get what you're saying. It's a great extra bonus and adds to it.
All right. So in freshman year of high school, I read "Stranger in a Strange Land."
Okay.
And not my favorite book, but it had one interesting part in there.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna go into everything, but anyway, it had this guy who grew up with the Martians, didn't understand humanity, and one of the things he was trying to figure out, the hardest thing to figure out, was comedy, why people laughed. And he came to the conclusion that pain is what makes people laugh.
Okay.
And
right.
It's not...
Is that what always people say is like what makes good comedians is someone that's had a lot of pain and they're kind of
well, that's it. It's like we are laughing at people in pain because we sympathize with that pain.
We can connect with it. Right.
So the more like we can like empathize with that and understand like, oh my God, I don't want to be in that situation, or I've been in that situation before. That's the stuff. That's the lasting comedy.
Wasn't that like the whole gist of like what is it, Comedy in the Muslim World, or what was that movie that he James Brooks made, right?
Albert Brooks.
Sorry. Ugh, messed up my Brooks. My bad.
I gotta be honest, that was not one I've rewatched.
I to be honest, I've only seen bits of it. It was definitely not one of my favorites from what I was gathering. But I think that's the concept, at least. That's kind of what what makes us all laugh. So I get that. Yeah, and you definitely have that with this movie,
right?
Without a doubt, for sure.
I mean,
everyone's been through that.
I don't know what your favorite comedy of all time. One of mine is like Caddyshack. So like Caddyshack is like complete nonsense throughout, but there is a human story throughout that too. Focusing on Danny and his relationships with that Maggie and all that stuff. There's inches of that, and there's some movies you could be funny without that stuff. You could be funny without that stuff.
Yeah,
but like having that little bits of humanity in there, even still, just makes it that much better. So like this is why like Step Brothers, I'm laughing throughout, but it doesn't have that realism in there for me where I can really connect with any of this stuff because it's so out of this world. And it's funny, but it's never going to be as good as this.
I would say there's an aspect of I wish I could be like that. I wish I still did have my dinosaur. I wish I you know what I mean? It's more of that aspect to it. But I get what you're saying. I'm not wrong. Again, it's kind of hard for me because I know you're voting it over Step Brothers. I don't know if I could go that far, but your arguments are not wrong. Your arguments are definitely not wrong. So it's hard to go against.
You know, it's just like anything else. Your mileage may vary, but
exactly.
That's the key to comedy for me. Is like, you know.
Yeah,
I'm laughing harder and longer at the stuff where I can imagine being in that situation, or I've been in that situation. I don't want to be that person ever again.
For sure, and there's something about the people playing these parts, and I'll say, Peter here is going to end up being pretty high for me in general, just because. You know, he has these, Jason Segel just nails these, like, what do you want to call it? I don't know. This like, what do you want to, I'm trying to think of vulnerability to it that he's allowed to show that no one else maybe would be okay with showing that, but you understand and feel it in the same time. Like he's really good at that.
Let's get into what the movie is first, and then we'll
go for it.
Get into the category. So, Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yep.
Our main character is Peter Bretter, and he has been dating a famous actress, Sarah Marshall, for 5 years. And one day she breaks up with him. He is absolutely destroyed and decides to go to Hawaii to get away from it all. Just everything reminds him of her. And unfortunately, she is also there with her new boyfriend. And it's like, just like that, like, I just said that, like, you know, 2 sentences or whatever, and you just like, everybody, it was just like, imagine that situation. You have just broken up with your girlfriend and you were meeting your ex in a vacation that you just spent thousands of dollars on. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's like, that's a kick in the gut. And it's anything, everybody can relate to that.
For sure.
Like, that is not something anybody ever, it's like the most ridiculous and
I'm
fantastic
sure we'll
situation.
Get to it, but it's worst. That part where he first sees her on the trip is so encapsulating. I feel like everybody's had that feeling. You know, and like, it just owns that moment.
I wish I wasn't wearing this fucking shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Our main character, Peter Bretter, musician who does the music for the TV show Crime Scene, Scene of the Crime.
I do the music for that program.
And dates the female lead of the show, Sarah Marshall, who promptly breaks up with him in the beginning of the movie, which absolutely destroys Peter.
Right.
I get the sense... and the movie tells you this in pieces, but you get the sense that Sarah was like the only real joy in his life. He hates his job.
Yeah.
And wants to do more creatively rewarding work, but his self-confidence in his talent is entirely shot. And he was only motivated to be like a supportive boyfriend who would show up to events with her and wear whatever ridiculous thing she asked him. With a smile.
For sure. I think I picked up on more of that in this viewing of it.
Get something new every time.
No, I agree. I agree with that one. At least this time I really noticed it more. Like, you really do get... I think the part that I was getting more this time is more of... He really was more of a creative person, but he took a job because it's a regular paycheck and it was really good for him type of deal.
Right.
Gets him in the business, but it was like... creatively like suffocating, and he just started walking through the motions and hating that side of his life, and that was the part that Sarah Marshall could not get him out of, and which you've kind of find out leads her astray eventually, not being able to figure that out. So he doesn't even realize that's basically what ended his relationship, was that not that it excuses what she does, but still
it's more understanding.
It's more understanding of it, yeah.
But my guy loves to pour himself a mixing bowl filled with Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how much my guy loves soggy-ass cereal, because there's no way he eats that fast enough.
That's true. Some people like it. My kids like it soggier, and I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Anybody eating an entire mixing bowl full of cereal, you're not mentally well. Things are not going okay for you.
Okay, one thing I'll say to that is there's a problem with cereal that I feel like, and I try to stay away from it because it's never filling. It's never filling.
When was the last time you ate cereal?
It's been a long time because I try to stay away from it. That's what I'm saying. Because
I'm just saying.
Then because I'm not filled up by it, I'm doing another bowl, and I'm like, oh, this is not good for me. I don't need another bowl, and I'm still not full from it. And then I somewhat understand his giant bowl of cereal. You know what I mean? Because of that, but at the same time, I agree with you because I'm like soggy and ugh. But now he is the freshest cereal.
Peter has been working on a Dracula musical with puppets for years, but he's creatively stuck. And it's at least partially because Sarah just doesn't want to get it. She just doesn't get it. And just like begs him not to share it with her.
Just don't play it again.
It's like, I really like it, just don't play it again.
Yeah.
Despite being totally destroyed.
Which has got to be more of a confidence hit to his character, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's all builds up.
Yeah.
And despite being totally destroyed by Sarah, he still knows her better than anyone.
Right.
He knows when she's putting on a bullshit facade when her show is canceled, and seems to be upset with Aldous when he tells him he broke up with Sarah. And all this makes Peter like a more well-rounded, realistic character to me, because you just don't turn those feelings off.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't, not that fast. And
sure,
you know, a person when you spent that much time with them, like you know.
It's interesting that he has this kind of moment of realization in time of it too, like where eventually towards the end where she's starting to try to get him back,
right?
And she, as soon as she does the "I love you" thing, he's like, "That's not fair." Like, and that's kind of what turns him all of a sudden, where like the person who rejected him is now accepting him back, and he has a hard time saying no at that point. But it's an interesting line that he does still somehow have this so not fair. Like it's weird. Right. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It goes to the complexity thing that you're talking about. But yeah.
Exactly. And I love that this movie has both a depression montage for after Sarah dumps him. And
it really nails montages in general in this movie.
Yeah, and then it has another montage of Peter enjoying life after sleeping with Rachel, not drinking with his breakfast, celebrating a wedding, laughing, having a good time,
just having fun
with others, playing with kids. It captures the excitement of a new relationship and like the utter devastation of one lost.
Right.
And it's perfect.
It really does nail it, yeah.
And I gotta tell you, Peter intentionally going out and getting his ass kicked to get the flashing pic of Rachel back to her.
Yeah.
Maybe the most romantic thing.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of says it like, no, he'll kill you. Like, don't do it. And you really do. Like, he's got some welts and stuff on his face when he does it.
How tall is Jason Segel? I mean,
he's tall. He's a big dude, I want to say. The only thing I would say weird in that scene is like the way he like throws that picture down. Like, I know it's just it's supposed to come off as an I really care about you, and I just want you to see this to show you how much I care about you, that I went through this pain for it. But it came off all at the same time of like, fuck you.
No,
and I just wanted to be like, it's weird.
I'm sorry. Like this, I deserved it. I tell you from like,
I deserve this punishment.
I deserve this. This is like how
I went
say
through this
sorry.
For you.
Yeah,
I don't.
I know I screwed up. I deserved this.
The facial reaction that he gives in that scene doesn't quite nail that for me, and it's a weird moment for me on that.
Okay, it just struck me as like, see, this I did this for you. I am sorry.
Yeah, I'm that devoted to you. I get what you're saying, and I get it. That's what it was meant to do. I just not sure I felt like it nailed in that moment. And
later on.
There's total nitpick from me because I want to say there's so much obviously he nails.
Well, later on it even mentions that like she says like you never called, like you asked me not to. Like he totally respects her and he's like, you're right. Like I screwed this up.
Yeah. I mean, she makes fun of him at different parts for how respectful he really is.
Stop being
Stop being so emotional. Get out of your head. Like it's really pretty out here, dude. Like there's a lot of comments from her about that from him. Like you're way too up in here, and like you just need to enjoy stuff more. Which goes to that moment where he does wake up that next day, and he's just gonna enjoy life. Like he's just gonna like, you know what? I don't need that alcohol, and like these kids want to have fun, and I'm willing to have fun with them. And I love too where he's like, where they're trying to get him to jump, and he's like, "No, stop! Don't make me!" But then he jumps anyway, and it's really funny stuff.
If this was like 500 Days of Summer or whatever, he would have been like dancing to Hall & Oates,
right?
During that
classic movie, good movie.
Yeah, I gave this character a 5.
I'm not surprised that you did.
Okay.
I went 4.5, so it's not like I went that much crazier there for you. So
okay,
yeah.
Hilarity, Tim, you're gonna have to edit me.
So it's the other way around now.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'll try to do my best.
So
not wrong. There's a lot of good stuff here. But I think to start off is him looking himself in the mirror.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Good for you, Pete.
Good for you.
Good
Pete.
for you.
Good for you.
It's my dude is flexing his barely there chest muscles in the bathroom.
Yeah. But like, I think again, it's like what you were saying earlier. Like everybody's like had those moments where you're like, hey, you know what? I look pretty good today, and my girlfriend's coming, and things are looking all right, and like, good for you, right? Like, I feel like everybody's, again, it's that connection that you've lived that kind of a moment before, and maybe it is irrational confidence, but that's what makes it kind of funny.
Well, it's the embarrassing stuff that we all do, that we can all, that's why we can all laugh with it. That's why it's so great comedy.
Yeah, and you got to give it to Jason Segel. He's really willing to put himself out there for this movie that he wrote, so...
It's they really do use his body for great laughs. Now, Jason Segel's not a bad-looking human being at all.
Not at all. No.
And but like, he's super tall. He's a little gangly, and so like it's just funny to see him in the positions that they put him in.
Right.
So, Tim, I got to ask: favorite crime scene of the crime William Baldwin line. Is it, can you say catfight?
No.
Is it, I think it's going to be hard for her to re-enter the pageant.
Yes.
Without a face.
Yes. I think that's the one that I like the most.
So it's not, ouch. Can you say Dixicle?
Dixicle? That's like a 1B there. That would be the other big one.
It's not even a 1A, it's a 1B.
It's a 1B. I still think the other one is my favorite because I think the first one, if I remember correctly,
it's the cat fight.
Is the cat fight, right? Is that the one where he puts on... Which one does he puts the sunglasses on? Because that's like, CSI. He's got the whole thing, right? Yeah. So you got the sunglass thing, which is really cool. There's something about the second one, though, because actually, to be honest, I mean, Baldwin nails it, but then the cutaway to Sarah Marshall there and her face of so seriousness of like, like it's so just puts a cap on it. It's just so good with her ridiculous reaction to it.
Tim is an OG CSI fan. And
I am because of high school. I took a CSI class, and that's what we did. We watched.
Tim put me onto it and said to watch it. And then one day CSI Miami came out and Tim was apoplectic at how
oh my gosh,
it was a parody of the original show.
But it was amazing because I got the humor right away from it. Like,
did you? I don't feel like you did. I think you were just angry. I'm like, no, this is amazing, Tim. What Carissa's doing is incredible.
I was mad because Vegas was so much better, like as a legit show. But I definitely got the humor after a while, especially because they ended up showing more Miami episodes in my high school class. Eventually, it was just funny with the sunglass thing and Caruso. And the weird thing, that was really my introduction to Caruso because I had barely a memory of Rambo at that point. Of course, he's done so much more after that. But I'm just saying,
we were too young for NYPD Blue and
right, and so
definitely too young for Jade when that came out.
Right, and so I had to get more of appreciation for him of that after the fact. But anyway, it was pretty funny, and so all of that is totally making fun of that stuff, and it's funny every time, especially even at the end when you see her sequel, or not sequel, but her
new show. Yeah.
Her new show, which is basically another procedural type ridiculousness. And it's so funny. And it's great that NBC was like, we're gonna go with this, and we're gonna use the same dude that narrates all this kind of stuff for ads and stuff like that. It's really funny that they embraced it. And of course you get Billy Bush here grabbed them. So that's another interesting thing to look back at.
I did. I was like, oh, Billy Bush, you're dead to everyone now.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, We Gotta Do Something is such a perfect dumb protest song.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I know things are bad. I actually don't have any idea how to fix them, but I just want to complain.
And the ridiculousness of how he's trying to fix it or so, like sodomize intolerance, right?
Sodomize intolerance.
It's like, oh my God.
He's holding up the cards, like, how can you read if you are blind?
Yeah. And him just making out with everybody, like somehow that's okay. Just pull people and strangers in to just make out with them, which just shows you how much he really is just full of shit. But it's really funny the way they do it in that music video. A lot of the music in this movie is oddly ridiculous and entertaining
so
at the
catchy.
same time.
I bought the soundtrack. I was like,
Inside of You is another one that's like, oh my God, it's so good and terrible, but like
all the covers in Hawaiian that are on this thing are amazing.
Agreed. What was the one in the credits that's like, wow, this is actually really good.
I don't.
Is it Nothing Compares to You? I can't.
I think it is. I think it is Nothing Compares to You. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they do play the original Nothing Compares to You, which is a really funny moment. I'm sure we'll get to, and then they do it again in the Hawaiian version there, and it's really good too. But yeah, there's a lot of really good music in this. Not to mention that the Dracula stuff is like actually really entertaining.
I want to see that play.
Right? That's my biggest takeaway. Like, can we have this happen?
Yeah. Apparently that was Siegel's originally idea, and he brought it to Apatow. I was like, no, this is a funny thing that's in your movie. It's not your movie.
I want this. I want it as an actual play.
I want to see it. I would see it.
So
Peter swinging his dick back and forth, saying he has a surprise for Sarah.
I got a surprise for you. It's great, and I love the tidbit story of Brad Pitt sitting behind him at an award show. Did you hear that one?
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, where Brad Pitt's sitting behind him. He's like, oh my God, Brad Pitt's behind me. Oh my God. And then Brad Pitt goes like, hey man, we're like trying to mimic the sound of his dick flapping. Yeah. And he's just like, I can't believe this is my first interaction with Brad Pitt. This is really weird. Like,
he's doing that and then immediately realizes that Sarah is there to break up with him.
Oh, and I love how the drops a towel. He puts his hands to his face.
Yeah, and we just see the dick.
He tries to cover, and then like he's like, I just need a minute, and he goes into the office that he has behind him,
and he gets into like the most like these are not attractive positions. Every position he gets into,
almost standing position, so his butt crack starts showing more, and you're like, oh my
God. But it's like every position he gets into is designed to make him look as unattractive and funny as possible. Right. That's why it's so incredible what they've done with him. Like,
it's weird because it's like he's not embarrassed in the moment, but you feel embarrassed for him. And then you almost start to feel for Sarah because Sarah has understandable arguments like just
no, I'm not going to put on clothes because then when I do that, it's over.
Because I know what that means.
Yeah,
putting on clothes means it's over. It's just such an irrational, great moment.
It's like a reverse Austin Powers bit.
Yeah,
honestly, the way they like how extra naked he is in this.
Yeah, I agree.
Why'd you take me here? This place smells like stripper's perfume. I'm gonna get herpes just from sitting on this couch.
Bill Hader's grossed out face by everything is great, and I love his reaction to because so he's like just help me be a wingman kind of deal. Speech he gives him is like
I'll help you talk to girls.
I'll help you talk to girls, and like he's immediately trashed. Saying like over the top stuff, and Bill Hader's just so funny in this moment too, where he's like, "Let's pump the brakes."
Even before that, we get a quick cut to Peter. He's asking me how's it doing. It's like, and then a quick cuts to like him watching Project Runway. And crying to it. It's like,
Auf to say.
And then he's cut back. He's like, I'm doing all right. And then And, he's like, I just need you to help me talk to girls. And Brian's like, you don't need to put your P in a V right now.
No, I need to B my L on some T's. Oh, that's gross. I love his reaction every time.
How about June Diane Raphael in this movie?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god!
I noticed her some rewatches long ago, but yeah, it is a crazy little thing from her in that moment, and I love her. She's like, "Oh, you're so funny." Oh yeah, I still want to go home.
I think that having sex with either of you would be a great treat for me.
It's so good.
Are you crying? No. So then he goes to the doctor.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, I had sex with someone I hardly knew. It's like, Peter, I'm a pediatrician. Have you noticed that you're sitting on a fire truck?
Oh yeah, this is new. I like this. And I'm really scared I have an STD, doc. Can you look at my dick? Or I think he says dick, right? I can't remember. I can't remember if he said it or the doctor. The doctor.
No. Well, the doctor says after he shows him the dick, he's
like barely 2 seconds. He looks at it. Good looking dick. You barely looked at it.
Beautiful dick.
Use it. Fuck it with anything that moves. Just wear a condom.
Yeah.
It's so good.
This short montage of beautiful women Peter's sleeping with post breakup. The one woman who has
which one is your favorite, by the way?
The second.
Okay. The gag one? Is that the gag one?
Yeah, Carla Gallo. Carla Gallo is.
It's really funny. I do like his reaction of like, you brought a gag and handcuffs. Do you want to gag me? Well, now.
Or how about the first girl who's like...
I really appreciated that one more this time.
I just came.
Yeah, the weird look he gives, like, what?
So funny.
It is really funny.
And then he's spiraling anymore. He can't even work anymore. He goes in to record the thing. He starts like playing the Seinfeld transition music.
Oh, yeah.
Recording.
And he just,
come on, man.
Billy Baldwin, aren't you?
Come on, man. I have Allman Brother tickets.
You know you're not getting paid for the session. Yeah, I know. That's good.
More hater. Brian admits to Peter that he has always found Sarah to be a bit of a bitch to him and his wife. But Peter isn't hearing it and says Sarah is better than Liz. Like, do you want to have this conversation?
You want to have this conversation?
Do you really want to have this conversation?
And I love his reaction of he is such a this is a whole, I should not be saying this, but yes. Like that's like the way he's like,
and then he goes,
bad idea, but yes.
He goes Pacino.
Yeah.
She is the mother of my unborn child. Sorry. You're my stepbrother. We're not even blood. I have no qualms to sticking. I will equalize you, you dick.
It's really good.
And now I have the freshest cereal.
She had this waiting for me.
What do you think of Jack McBrayer in this movie? I love him.
Really good, to be honest. I feel like the first couple of times I watched it, I didn't really appreciate it as much, and I got it. I think I appreciated it more as I rewatched it. He
says so many jokes under his breath that you need. It gets funnier with rewatches.
I agree.
What is into you? Not me yet.
Like his whole breakdown at the bar too, and he's like hitting his head, like, and I feel like I'm stabbing you, and it's like his whole anxiety thing, and is really funny. But to be honest, I really like Aldous there when he eventually like Aldous is the one that kind of helps him figure out because they're obviously like Christian people.
Right.
And that never did really anything before kind of deal. And so they don't really get it or whatever. And she's way more.
Have you never had sex before? No.
Why? Because
our religion.
Because God
and everything.
Yeah. it's really funny. And it's like, no, because God should be present with you in the bedroom or whatever. And he's like showing all these moves. It's a really funny scene. And then you get back to McBride or
McBride.
Yeah. And he's like, you got Christ between your thighs or whatever. And
you've God between your thighs. Yeah. It's a shorter beard.
It's a really funny moment there, too. You want to come back to bed? Sure.
Peter! Hey, what are you doing here? I came here to murder you.
Yeah. That's my next thing, too. Yeah. Because that is a total... Because that comes... after the shirt, right? Which I think is really funny too.
I already said it, so I didn't feel
no, because I want to say it because Mila Kunis was actually really funny in that moment too, that I think I overlooked originally because I never noticed what she was saying to him. because she's like, because he says like, I wish I wasn't wearing this fucking shirt. And she's like, yeah, unbutton the top button. And
right,
he unbuttons it, and he's like, button that back up. So I never noticed like, because it was so funny, but I didn't notice like, actually she's really funny in that moment too. So I wanted to give her a little shout out on that one.
We're gonna have more of that because she's funny in this movie.
She legitimately is. This is probably the best she's done since that 70s show, and then probably I guess
at this
the
point,
first Bad
Moms. I mean, she's funny.
The first Bad Moms is pretty good, but
I haven't seen any of the
second one's real bad.
So I've heard. I've lost a shoe. Have you seen it anywhere? It's like this one, but obviously it's the opposite one. Excuse me, miss. I've lost a shoe like this one. It's like this one's fellow.
It's like his mate.
Like the exact opposite of that. Not an evil version, but a shoe like this, but for the other foot. And I've always found that funny, but this time I noticed Kristen Bell's face going from angry at Peter being there to like shock and embarrassment because Alice has come onto the scene. Yeah. And Peter's face going from hurt, embarrassed to like death stare. Like,
yeah, there's
just really funny.
Good Kristen Bell reactions to a lot of it.
Yeah.
I feel like the my favorite stuff with that comes later though, with the shirt and all that. But I feel like there was a weird lacking opportunity. Like she doesn't give enough of a reaction to when he like full on says like, because it's like, why didn't you mention this before about him going on tour or whatever? He's like, well, I'm telling you now, right? And he's like, it's just like, I have genital herpes, and I didn't say that to you because it's not inflamed at the moment. And it's like, oh my god! Like,
I think in Kristen Bell's defense, I think like a lot of this movie had improv lines.
Right.
So like her facial reaction probably wasn't matching whatever he was saying at the time.
You should have done a better cutaway, because that should have been. I'm pretty sure she could have nailed some great because Kristen Bell's phenomenal. So she could have nailed some. It's weird. Her reaction didn't quite nail. Maybe because she just got too much information. You could put it in that character way. She got too much information there, so
you get the impression like dealing with Aldous Snow, he just says a lot of crazy shit all the time. You have to like. Yeah. Pay attention to 5% of it.
She makes up for it at the dinner.
Oh, yeah.
So we can get to that later.
Much later. Oh, hey, I'm Aldous Snow. I know who you are. You're very famous.
Very famous.
Yeah, I am. For my sins. And then, like, Peter, stalking Sarah and Aldous back to the room, and Brian's on the phone with him.
Oh, that's great. That's my favorite Bill Hader moment, for sure.
What are you doing? No!
What
are you doing? Sucker! Listen, you piece of shit. You are an idiot!
Yeah. What's funny is he is so loud on that phone.
Yeah,
you hear it through this whole train wreck of a scene, and it makes that scene amazing.
Did you enjoy that? Did you like
what
you saw?
Did you like the song? No.
Hey, Peter, how's it going? I'm getting complaints about a woman crying hysterically. Yeah, I hear it too. It sounds like she's having a tough time. I think it's coming from the floor above me. You're on the top floor. I'll try to keep it down.
But I love too, he does this thing where as soon as that gets mentioned, his voice goes deeper all of a sudden.
Yeah.
To try to cover up what he was doing.
And instead of crying outside on the balcony, he's now crying in a fetal position on the floor inside.
But trying to, he's trying to keep it like more concerned. But yeah, it's funny. It's so good.
And then enter Jonah Hill.
I love it. I'd love to sell you some weed right now, but you called me at my place of business.
Well, I'd love to sell you some weed, Jimmy, but I'm at my fucking job right now, obviously because you called me at work. You know that I'm at my place of work. And then Peter asked for like a table for one, and he's like, do you want a magazine or something? It's going to be boring if you're just sitting by yourself. I would just be so depressed.
Yeah, and I noticed this time around that Peter's like, yep. And kind of giving... I never really noticed that one before, like his reaction to it. Like, yeah,
and then it's just like another kick in the groin. Peter is they seated next to Sarah and Alice.
Oh, yeah. You got the best seat in the house. And it's like, literally, the seat is facing them.
Yeah. And then... Peter he's like, I gotta get out of here. He asked him if he wants it. They want a drink because he's gonna go get a drink. He's like, oh no, he's like, I'm 7 years sober. If I just have one sip of wine, I'll be ribbing waiters for their tips just to get me hands on a rock. You know what I mean? And then like behind him, a couple are getting engaged. Just like, oh,
it's like every worst possible thing is happening. And I love too where he talks to Sarah later. And he mentions the sobriety thing, and he doesn't know yet, but he's like, "Thanks for getting with him after me." You know, all the needles or whatever. I forget the line, but it was another funny moment.
Matthew, the waiter, coming back to check in on Aldis's meal. How are you enjoying your vegetable medley? It's mundane. It is mundane. It's great. I know. This one's especially funny because the season we did this, because we did the movie. Peter getting drunk at the hotel bar and trying like a new drink with each one. It's on the menu.
Yes.
And eventually gets one in a martini glass. It's like, oh, I'm Samantha. I have sex with everybody.
I'm Miranda. I think he does a couple of characters.
I'm Miranda.
I'm Samantha.
Yeah. So great.
I love too when he gets the drink with the banana in it, and he takes it out. He's like, oh, and he shows it to the guy next to him. He's like, not us, right, buddy? And he's like, the guy next to him's like with a girl too.
Yeah. Last call at the bar. So
I heard too, by the way, that what's her name? One of the Sex and the City actresses is in that behind the scenes too. I heard.
Really?
That's what I read on IMDb. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it makes me want to go back and look. But
you didn't know which one?
Off the top of my head, no. I'm sure it was in the trivia, but now I'm forgetting.
Oh, well.
Sorry.
I'll have to go back and read it later.
Yeah, I'm done doing homework.
Last call, so Daryl, that's Jack and Pryor's character, has to head back to his new wife. Off to find the mythical clitoris.
Yeah, that's another good line. I think that's also where you get your fish line, too.
I already said it, so I didn't let it. Yeah.
No, I know, but I think it's funny
Did you want me to try again?
There, where he's like, I know like 200 different kinds of fish. They're like, no, you don't. Do it. I just love the whole drunken camaraderie there before he gets to that, which is just really funny. And then I think he that's when he goes back drunkenly into his hotel room and goes on the piano, right?
Well, before that, you have Peter. He starts talking up with Rachel, who comes by,
right?
And she's like, Sarah Marshall's show sucks anyway.
I do the music for that program.
And
I tell you, the music is awesome.
And he just sums up the show. He's like, listen, I get it. The masturbating dog killer is on the loose again, and he'll kill the owner, but at least the dogs are happy.
That is a
Bong.
Yeah.
And then you get a quick cut back to Daryl in the honeymoon suite as his wife starts to try to go down on him. No. God put our mouths on our head for a reason. No.
Yeah. It's such a good, he nails the delivery of that. I don't know. It felt so real. His whole disgust of it was so funny. I agree. It's really funny. But the kill the dog owner is really funny too. But anyway, and then you get to the Muppet Show. He does the Muppet Show thing on the piano, and it's amazing. And I felt like right there, I mean, the Muppets and everything, it was like a foregone conclusion. He was gonna do a Muppet movie because of this movie, and everybody who saw this movie knew it. It was like this had to happen.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
And then Peter goes to have surfing lessons.
Kunu. Hey, Chuck, or whatever, and then it's just like, oh, they really gotta change that flyer.
That's my mainland name.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, what's your name or whatever?
My Hawaiian name is Kunu.
What does that mean? It means Chuck. There's a database. I just typed it in there.
So I'm going to give you a Hawaiian name. Was it Piopi?
Kilpi.
Piapi?
I know. I think it's Kilpi.
No, it's Piapi. It's something with a P. Piapi or whatever.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Kilpi.
I don't know. I had the subtitles on. It said Piopi.
Really? All right. That's not what I had, but okay.
Looks like you got a little pain behind those eyes. Yeah,
right.
A little. Well, there's really only cure for that. What's that? Weed. You got any? No? Oh, well. Let's go surfing. Everybody's learning now.
Yeah. And then you get the whole do less.
Yeah.
You get the whole do less.
Yeah, you gotta do more than
don't
that.
try to surf. right? And then eventually he just lays there and does nothing. It's like, oh, well, you got to do more than that. Let's just get out there. Let's just go. The weather out there is weather.
The weather outside is weather.
And how much do I quote that one? That's one I quote a lot.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
I quote that one a lot.
It's
so
an all-timer.
Yeah, it is a phenomenal line.
How long have you lived out here? Man, I don't know. I quit wearing a watch when I moved out here. Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, no, like my cell phone has a clock on it, so I don't really need it.
Oh, well, that's like the same thing.
Hey, if life gives you lemons, you say fuck the lemons and bail.
Bail. I love too. He's like, yeah.
You gotta just pull yourself up by your wetsuit and get back on that board. If a shark attacks you, are you gonna give up surfing?
Probably
yeah.
Although plenty of people actually get shark attacked and continue surfing. So it's everybody's insanity, I guess. But anyway,
it doesn't happen that often.
No, totally. I mean, it's happened, but it's not like a regular occurrence for sure. But it's still, it was a funny line. It was for sure.
I love Brian having fun with the chat background. Hey, I'm in Hawaii too. Aloha, bitches.
Yeah, I love luau. No, it's a hula. That's not, he's like trying to correct them, and then he starts doing like hoo hoo hoo. It's like they're not Native American, Brian. So offensive and great. But I prefer the second one, the second video conference. And he's like, "Oh, I'm on the moon" or whatever. And then like, oh, I'd really love the woman's perspective, because every time he's like hiding his wife. Yeah, he's hiding the wife. He's like, no, it's just me and you, buddy. And it's like, hey, Liz. And then she's like, hey. And like, again, I feel like that's gotta be some kind of fun between us in general, just because like, oh, what does Meg think? Where's Meg? Because you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a similar thing. And then you gotta love she thinks she's got to get real close.
Right.
All right, to the microwave, and it's like the whole like get closer, now back away, now get closer and back away, and then it's like, oh, gross! I know what you're trying to do, or whatever. And then like, hey, Liz, where'd you get that necklace?
Did you have that a second ago? Oh, that's gross.
Hater's amazing.
I love Peter going to sit down at the whatever, like little, I don't know what it was. With the 4th of July celebration, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And he just starts eating, and Jonah Hill comes by, Matt the waiter, comes by to come grab his plate. He's like, you done here? And he's like, no, I just started eating. It's delicious, though? Oh, okay, I'll just go fuck myself. What? Mahalo!
I agree. So I like, too, where he's like, telling Rachel, he's like, oh, you look so beautiful. It's such a non-subtle thing, because eventually somebody gives him a lay, and wearing the exact same dress he just complimented Rachel on. And he gives this look of like, oh, I'm such a dick. But it's so quick. And that's the one that I picked up on this time. That look of like, oh, I just put my foot in my mouth. I feel like such a jerk in that one split second.
And then we get Aldous singing Inside of You.
Yes, which is great.
I mean, it's right up there with Scotty Doesn't Know. This is like that sucks.
Right.
But you took me by surprise when you let me inside of you. Inside of you.
Especially because you got Matthew like singing along too, which is really funny.
Teach me how to grow when I'm moving inside of you. I just went from 6 to midnight. That's one I quote all the time.
That is a great one too. Yeah, that is a really good one. And I love too when he has to obviously leave because like, oh my gosh, right? And then he runs into
it's a chemo.
Yeah, which is like I think the first time we might have seen one time in a quick bit about whipped cream or berries, but then we see him there. So it was like the second time we see him, but we actually get like more of a scene. So he's like, "Get out of your head! Like I got to do a pig roast for a luau." So come
before you get to that, I love this line. I'm sorry.
Quick talking about it, dude. It's like The Sopranos.
How did you know How'd you know I was dating Sarah Marshall? Dwayne told me, Chuck told me, even Rachel told me. Everybody, you gotta stop talking about it. It's like The Sopranos. It's over. Find a new show.
It's a good moment. Yeah.
But Peter stabbing the pig for the luau and screaming, "I'm sorry! I'm sorry!
Make me do this!" And I love that. It's over, man. You can stop crying now. I'm not crying. Already. You're crying.
I don't cry. I'm not a baby.
You're a baby.
Really? Because you look like a gigantic baby. I'm
sorry. I don't mean that.
I didn't mean that at all. Speaking of like looks on Peter's face, how about the look on his face when Rachel tells him to go change his shirt if he wants to hang out with her?
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Because she's doing it so nonchalant, like just
go change that shirt,
and I'll meet you out front or whatever. And he's just like, oh yeah, I'm kind of a dick here. Yeah. Ouch.
The next thing I have is after the date. I don't know if you want to get anything while they're.
No, the only thing I kind of really enjoyed about the date, because I mean, yeah, there's the stuff on the beach, but there's nothing too crazy about that. But when he's singing the song, at the bar, and there's that one guy at the bar that's like, this is, and he starts laughing, and he's like, I really like this, and the woman in front of him looks back and like, what the hell's the matter with you? And he's just like, I don't care, this is funny. I was like, I really appreciate this moment. But otherwise, I'd agree. Then I'd move on.
I went out on a date tonight with Rachel. That wasn't a date. She's in customer service, dude. She took you out for charity.
I bet it was a date. You think strippers like you too.
It was a date, okay? Trust me, I know a date when that was a date. But you think strippers like you too.
That's a really great line.
And then Kunu's there and starts chatting up with him. Did you see your ex-boyfriend? That guy is ridiculous. I saw him beat up a guy with a starfish. Okay, that is ridiculous. That guy was me. And then Daryl gives Peter and Kunu an update on his bedroom struggles with his wife. If God was a city planner, he wouldn't put a playground next to a sewage system.
Yep, that was a good one too. I love how they just kind of like let him be with that. Like they have nothing to say. They're like, oh.
Kunu checking out Daryl's wife. I like her hair. I wonder if the carpet matches her pubes.
Yeah. I love too where like later when he does like, I'm ready to ride big waves or whatever, Kunu or whatever, and it's like, oh, I think you're ready or whatever. But I love how he starts off.
I don't think you're ready, man. No, I'm fucking ready. I want to do this. All right, I think you're ready.
But I like before that he's like, oh hey, I think I see some pain behind the. He's giving the same spiel like he doesn't remember him at all.
Well, yeah, even when he's sitting down talking to him at the bar, it's like, hey, I'm Kunu. He's like, yeah, we met, man. We had like a nice long talk. We did.
That's cool. Like, cool. He doesn't remember every time.
He's like, yeah, I'm Peter. We like, oh yeah, you're the guy that works for Kaiser Permanente or whatever.
It's like, no. And I love too that when they're on the ocean, and he's like, how old are you? Well, and then he's like, I guess that makes me 40?
44. He says
44,
he's 44.
44.
Paul Rudd is 39 when this movie comes out. Just like preview of what he's going to look like at 44, exactly the fucking same.
Yeah. It's funny.
Sarah gets the news that her show is canceled, and Atlas invites her to come with him on his 1.5 year long tour. You could be queen of the groupies, queen of the sorrow suckers. The sorrow suckers?
I don't know why they call them that.
And then she asks, like, what are you going to tell me about the tour? I was like, well, look, I've not told you I've got genital herpes because it's not inflamed at the moment.
That moment gets me every time. Like, oh my god, that's not how that works.
And I love when she has the heart-to-heart with Peter, and she starts like panicking for real. And she's like, I don't have the frame to support plastic surgery. I would tip over. Yeah,
that's a really funny moment from her too.
I fucking lost
it. She progressively gets funnier with those moments, because you only get like a little bit here and there in the beginning, like her reaction to Peter's stuff in the beginning, I guess.
She put in some clothes.
Yeah, and then like maybe like when she first sees him and they both kind of walk off, and he's like, I think he calls her a bitch or something, and then she's like stalker or whatever, fucking stalker or whatever. So you get a little bit, but it's like this is the part where she really starts to be a little bit of funny.
Yeah. It's Sea Turtle fucking season, dude. They fucked for 3 hours. Dude, I mean, that's magical.
Yeah, it's great. And this leads to probably one of the other lines that I quote all the time. Which is when he invites Rachel to go on a hike with him.
Right.
And she's like, really? I heard that place is kind of a pain in the ass, but they decided to go anyway. And like cut to, she's having an A-OK time in
how you doing?
Flip-flops, which is like, wow, impressive. Yeah. But anyway, he's like, oh, yeah, I don't think I've ever been this covered in sweat before. I feel like I have a fever. It's like, anytime I'm like that soaked and stuff, I quote that line.
Right, which happens quite often for you.
Well, we are of our ilk and our family, so yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, sure, maybe I take the cake, but hey, you know what? I'm my mother's son. So anyway,
you are the Patrick Ewing of this family.
Yeah, I don't have to do much, and it just comes down. That's why I love that part in Bedazzled when they got like the whatever he's playing the basketball player, and they got the the water like soaking out. It's like I feel that pain so much. But I love that line, and I quote it all the time. It's amazing.
Come on, Peter. I can see your vagina from here. I can see your hoo-ha.
That's another great... I wonder if it's got to be an ADR line where she says, I can see your hoo-ha, because it cuts away.
Well, yeah,
but
obviously. So
oh, my gosh, she nails the cadence. It's so funny in that moment.
It is so fucking funny.
It's really good. It's definitely the best she's ever been.
Another all-time line. Are those sad tissues or happy tissues?
Maybe you can give me a minute. This is after a successful date or whatever.
Right.
So it's fun. It's a really funny moment. And of course, the way he says happy tissues or sad tissues or happy tissues is so good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And Peter finds out Aldous has been sleeping with Sarah for a year and starts like splashing water at him in anger.
Oh, yeah.
What about the code of the ocean? That's not on.
I love too. Because he's like, it's like you kind of like don't exactly weirdly hate Aldous, even though he is completely full of shit, and he's awfully has a messed up view of the world. But he's like, he does like. I was looking at Sarah's iPod, which was like a weird retro thing. The iPods was the thing, right? Made me feel old. But he was like, well, I found something good. And it was like, this reminded me of this like dark, gothic Neil Diamond. And he's like, man, that's exactly what I was going for. God, you're cool. Like, damn it. Like,
fuck, you're
like,
cool.
Like, hard to dislike you. Damn. And he's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah. No,
he was like born to play this role. So it's like, it made sense he got his sequel.
Right. I was going to get into this later with him, but like Aldous...
it fits inside character, so I get what you're saying.
He never... He doesn't think about anybody else, but it's never in a malicious way.
Right.
So it's like he is very much almost like a child where he's just like, he's pure id. So he's just like, you can't really get angry at him.
Right. Because he's like in that moment too, he's like, I thought you knew. Like he had no idea. Like you guys broke up. I thought you already knew. Like
because he's like so outwardly kind to everyone he meets too, and
right. And he's very upfront about everything. Right.
Yeah.
Like he's when he decides to finally leave, and he's like, "Oh, that's my driver. I'm gonna have sex with her," and he just walks off. And it's like it's so good.
Peter accidentally knocks out Aldous while surfing, and Peter saves his life, but Aldous get a piece of coral stuck in his leg. It's raping my leg.
Get it out, Peter! Get it out! And then you gotta love Kudu coming in, and he's like, "Can you get some towels? I lost a lot of blood, hotel man." I love he calls him hotel man.
Yeah. And
he's like, "Oh, you sound like you're from London." He does the whole thing, and he's like, "Yes, I'm from London."
Sarah asked Aldous to wear the shirt you got him to dinner.
Oh yeah.
I do love that shirt you got me. I admire Sir Tommy Bahama an awful lot. He's a talented man.
Yeah, but I think this is feeling it or whatever, right? And he sees the girlfriend face and he's like, all right, I'm guilted into doing it. And there's so many comments that are great. And again, I love Kristen Bell in like gosh, I can't remember what he says. He says something about his shirt.
I have it.
God, you were going to wear the shirt regardless or whatever. I love this.
Yeah, I was going to say, so this is actually happening. We're going to let this happen.
Oh, which is great. That's another one I quote a lot. Yes.
Sarah agrees to Peter's sham invitation of joining him and Rachel for dinner.
And everybody's like, what? I never thought you'd say yes.
And Alan is like, You've put me in a terrible situation. I'm going to be sitting with them wearing this shirt. You'd be wearing that shirt regardless. And she sounded like Judge Smales in Caddyshack.
Yes.
You're going to get nothing and like it.
But it's such a like, oh, God damn, you're pissing me off kind of cadence to it. It's phenomenal delivery. Phenomenal.
Oh, how...
I love where he eventually, they're all drinking like a tremendous amount of wine.
Right.
And you just see bottle after bottle going, and then he's drinking his cranberry cocktail or whatever, or he asked for a cranberry
juice with lime, yeah.
Cranberry juice with lime. He's like, do you want cranberry juice or do you want cranberry cocktail? Because I can both. I don't care. I just love that delivery too, and then I love when he eventually spills it on his shirt. Like, oh, my eyes! But
oh no, not the shirt! Oh, take my eyes, but not the shirt.
I think I've improved it actually. It's really good. It's like, are you gonna get some like soda water, or it's so good? And then like Matthew comes over and tries to, and he's immediately going to his crotch instead of where the stain is. Oh no, it's not down there. Like, bless you, please go away. Like, I just.
And then man asked Aldous if he's listened to his demo yet. Oh no, yes. I was going to listen to that, but then I just carried on living my life.
That is beautiful. It is a chef's kiss moment in line. It's really good.
I think that's one I quoted quite a bit. I was like, oh yeah, I was going to do that, but then I carried on with my life.
It was kind of important to me. It's great. It's really good.
I've heard women do fake orgasms, but I've never seen one. It really deeply upset me.
And what a moment too. Maybe I should save her side characters, but oh well. Like where he's like, where she eventually calls him out, which was funny. About like, this is Nordic, this is Hindu, this is Buddhist or whatever. And he's like, and they're all contradictory like things, which just means you're full of shit or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I love his response back of, what was it? Was that real or did you fake that?
Yeah.
And it was so, and she just has nothing to say.
And he's like, all right, I'm going to get out of here in the morning and that'll be that. And she's like,
I'm going to go to your music. Yeah. Well, I fucked what was it? The maid
I fucked the housekeeper the other day. And like the look on Kristen Bell's face, like she just got punched in the boob. Like,
yeah, like it really, I feel like that's what it encapsulates. Like, I've made a horrible mistake, right? And that's when you start to see her flashbacks of like, wow, he put up a lot with my stuff that I made him do and did it smiling.
Yeah, that was like during the shirt thing where remembering like Peter just like looking like an asshole for her and always smiling and being supportive to her.
Yeah. Which was funny too, to go back when they both go in on her about the phone that kills people movie that she did, which was really funny to see the camaraderie of them going back.
Just take the battery out.
Game's over, right? Yeah, it was really funny the way they went in on her, which I didn't realize too, that she made a movie of similar background.
None of them really knew that. It was like a remake of a Japanese movie.
It was like Pulse or something, I think it was.
I never saw it because
I never saw it either, but it's
I was
funny.
allergic to all of the Japan horror remakes, the J horror remakes. So I was like,
that's fair.
Like, I couldn't stand The Ring, so I didn't.
I was not a fan either. I was not a fan of The Grudge either.
I didn't even watch The Grudge, so.
I mean, I do love Sarah Michelle. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I didn't throw down with it either. But anyway.
So yeah, Al just tells him like, he meets up with Peter later at the front of the hotel.
Yeah, which is funny. Like now, because everything's cool, like he's kind of really has moved on. They're like buddy all of a sudden.
But then he's like, I'm getting out of here. We're done. It's like,
yeah.
He's like, you're done? It's only been a week. Well, 1 week of it was sort of like going on holiday with like, I don't know. I wouldn't say Hitler, but certainly Goebbels.
Yeah.
It was like a little holiday with Hitler.
How you served 5 years under. I love how animated he gets all of a sudden in that moment. Because he really is not for most of the movie. And that he really gets passionate all of a sudden in that moment. It's really funny.
And then Alice suggests Peter try dating Sarah and Rachel at the same time. And Peter says he's not that kind of guy, and he doubts he has the sexual competency to pull that off.
Yeah, it's a gift.
It's a gift. So yeah, Peter goes to go comfort Sarah, and of course this is where Sarah starts coming on to him and tries to get back together. Peter can't get hard for Sarah because he knows this is wrong and not really what he wants, but even he can't turn down a blowjob for a couple seconds.
Yeah, there's a funny few like, well, yeah, you could try, but I really liked, I think later when they talk about it, especially with Rachel, like the other side characters here, and he's like, he refused a blowjob mid blowjob.
I have that whole thing sectioned off. You can't do this.
Well, then jump ahead, man. Come on. You told me to control you. I'm controlling you. Jump ahead.
She licked the tip. That doesn't count. Of course it counts. He what? He refused a blowjob from his ex-girlfriend mid-blowjob? Do you know what that's like for a man? It's called bluebells, Rachel. This guy's like Gandhi, but better. He likes puppets. I love puppets. I love Fraggle Rock. I love Lamb Chop. I love Elmo, Sesame Street, Bert and Ernie, Snuffleupagus. Snuffleupagus fucks my shit up.
Dude nailed every line he was given to him. You gotta admit, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm like, where is he? Why?
Yeah, never really popped up again, to be honest, that I know of.
Devon McDonald, I don't understand. He was in Walking Shame for a minute. I didn't see Joe Taylor. He popped up from 5-year engagement, but like, man, where's this guy been? I don't know.
Yeah.
So
somebody go snorkeling with me.
Peter can't get hard for Sarah because anyway, yeah. So it's like, what's the problem, Peter? I don't know. More? Well, you can keep trying if you want. Maybe, and then still doesn't work, and he's like, well, maybe the problem is you broke my heart into a million pieces, so my cock doesn't want to be around you anymore. And then Peter storms off.
You're the devil or something. And then he storms off. Yeah.
He storms off, telling Sarah off, whatever. And then there's a wedding going on outside the room, like right outside.
Yeah.
And
Hawaii.
Like, a wedding in Hawaii, real original. And but the door is like wide open. He didn't open the door. It's like, was she just straight up blowing him like in front of an open door?
To be honest, like their sliding doors were like always open.
Right.
Like even at one point where he confronts her about that she was sleeping with him for like a year before they broke up, and he just leaves. His sliding door was wide open. He just walks right in. It's like, how long was that open for then? Because he was passed out at the beach surfing. So like, how long was that open for?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've never been to Hawaii, but that sounds like a horrible decision. But anyway,
I don't remember a big bug problem, but.
Well, not just the bug problem, but how hot and humid you're going to make your room and stuff.
It's not that kind of place. There's a gentle breeze all the time. Hawaii's perfect, man. It's magical.
Yeah, okay. I've never been, so I wouldn't know. Because there was one where he goes to the beach with her for that party, and he's wearing a long sleeve dress shirt
and jeans
rolled up and jeans. I was like, oh, that looks awful at the beach. No, like
I know this movie.
The visceral reaction to that.
Yeah, no, this movie takes place like early July, right? Because he's at that 4th of July.
4th of July party.
And I've been to Hawaii in May. But I looked up like what is Hawaii like in July, and it's like high 80s. So
dang.
You hit like the nighttime, you're on the beach and there's lots of breeze. Yeah, I could see jeans being a possibility.
Yeah.
I
was like
probably
blowing
still
my
wouldn't,
kids' mind, by the way, today when I was showing them the home opener of the Yankee game where it was snowing.
In 1996? Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, I don't understand. What month is it? I was like, it's like April.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? Because, audience at we live down south now. We're in North Carolina. They're like, I don't understand. Like, what do you mean? I don't understand. I was like,
I like how you said audience. I like that you said audiences at home as if we have a live studio audience.
Whatever. I mean, they're going to watch, right? Hopefully.
Right. Not this one.
But like, or even, I felt like in August up in New York, you're hanging out with friends outside in August at nighttime. I'm putting a sweatshirt on. Like the temperature drops at night, like late August.
In New York?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It got a little chillier at night.
It always feels like the hottest month.
It is hot, but not at night. Like the temperature starts to drop.
I never noticed this before too. So after the whole picture thing, and he drops at the front desk, Peter goes to hug goodbye to Dwayne and
they give her a stare down.
Well, Dwayne specifically, like Rachel gets like annoyed look, and like Dwayne's like, I never caught that before. It's so funny.
I guess I missed that. I don't remember that look. Okay.
Yeah, it's
funny.
like, back off. Hug him, a boy.
And they defend him the entire time, right? He's not like other guys, as they keep saying or said. So,
all right, one last thing for me. For this,
I'm about to say, because I don't have a lot of this. Like, it just goes to
the song he sings at the piano. He's still struggling.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't.
Peter, you suck. Write some music, but instead you sit and write these bullshit songs. It's so self-loathing. Go see a psychiatrist. I hate the psychiatrist. Well, go see one anyway. I don't like the psychiatrist. You need to go see one. See a psychiatrist. I'm not going.
It's really good. That is really good. That is legit good. I forgot about that one.
10. This category is a 10 for me.
I have it as an 8.
That's revenge, and I know it.
It's not revenge.
That's revenge for my stepbrother's score.
I mean, no. I legitimately is not revenge, although I think it was no, I think this movie is really funny. It's really, really funny, don't get me wrong. And it's pretty damn consistent all the way through. Because again, then you get, we kind of mentioned it, but I mean, we don't have to go into total depth, but the play...
It's really funny.
It's funny, and I love the end too, where his
the naked
brother,
reprise. That.
Yeah, his brother
Brian
is playing what do you call it, Van Helsing. And he gets like totally into it, and he's just like going off top of his lungs. And I love the look from Peter being like, "Dude, like, what are you doing?"
Yeah,
which is really funny. But yeah, you get the naked reprisal too. So you still get some, and then you get in. It ends with inside you, so there's still some good humorous stuff with it. So it really is very consistent.
It's so funny too in that scene where like the reprisal, the naked scene where she walks in on him naked, and she just starts laughing, and like
he actually says
for
like,
a second,
stop laughing.
Please stop laughing.
Yeah,
because nothing worse for any human being, man, female, I don't care. If someone sees you naked and they just start laughing, like please stop.
Yeah. Which is definitely not what you want. It's not what you want.
It's not a great reaction. Which is so human. That's why it's so perfect.
There's some weird things where I feel like maybe it's my own personal stuff. There's some reaction from Rachel towards him that I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't be down for that either, the way she's reacting. But at the same time, I feel like it works to what he needs. So it does kind of work at the same time. But anyway, yeah, I really like it. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely high marks. I don't think I have, maybe there's a couple movies that might be close to what I rank this in hilarity, but this is still a pretty darn high score for me. I just, I don't know. I don't think it ever gets me as hard as Step Brothers, so that's why. But anyway.
Supporting characters: Kristen Bell as Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
What a really hard needle to thread this role is.
Really is. Really is.
But Kristen Bell did it. Sarah is set up to be the traditional shallow villain in this, but the movie eventually lets Sarah tell her side of the story.
Yeah.
Like why she broke up with Peter. Peter wouldn't leave the house.
I think there's a cut where they give more too, to be honest. I think I remember hearing that.
Okay.
There's supposed to be more from her perspective.
He wouldn't leave the house. Zero ambition to do anything. It's extremely hard to be the partner of a depressed person.
Yeah.
Even more so if that person doesn't realize how bad things have gotten.
Yeah.
And she said she made lots of efforts to snap him out of it, but he never even noticed her trying.
Yeah.
And like, man, like I just, that really resonated with me. Would have been so easy to hate this character.
Yeah.
And she's definitely not great, but Kristen Bell's charm plus the late sympathies introduced makes the character just human.
I think too.
Like I understand her.
What really nails it is in that speech. She really owns it, and you really feel it. Like you really like. It's not. It's clearly not someone being like, "Well, I need to come up with something to not be the villain." You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be the bad guy here, so I'm going to come up with something. Like she legitly, I felt like in that moment felt it. Like,
but like.
I legitly tried. Like, what the hell? Like, she had a lot of aggressive feelings towards that.
Right. And
I
like,
think that's what makes it work, yeah.
None of the characters get so none of the main characters get so cartoonish that it's okay to have this scene of like complete sincerity, and it's
I
fine.
think too, what makes it work is Peter doesn't have much of a rebuttal to it.
No,
and that's what makes him just walk away.
Yeah.
So it's like there's almost some ownership of like, yeah, this dude was kind of at fault too, and he kind of almost owns it in that moment. And so I mean, yeah, it's a really good moment with it where you don't immediately hate her, or even where she admits to cutting when she eventually cuts the bullshit. That like, yeah, like I don't want to be forgotten. This is my place in this. Like you do, there's humanizing moments for her.
Yeah.
That you know, it's we always say it all the time, right? What's the best kind of villains are ones that you kind of see their perspective on.
Right.
So, yeah.
Mila Kunis is Rachel. Almost a manic pixie dream girl, but they give her the bare bones of a backstory. Plus,
Yeah,
Kunis has
light.
always given off cool girl vibes in anything she's in. So
Yeah,
it's like
that's
a
fair.
winning character.
Right from her beginning, really, from that 70s show. But yeah, yeah.
Right, when she's playing like the Jackie on that 70s show was like, the spoiled bitch, but she was also, she could hang too.
She was just cool, and
Yeah.
that's why it worked. And to be honest, you also got to be impressed by her because I think she was like by far the youngest person there.
She's my age, so she's like 15 years old. Whatever.
When she like started the show, and I feel
Yeah,
like
she
the
lied
rest of
about
them
her
were
age.
a little bit older.
They were all a
and
lot
it was-
older. She lied about her age to be on the show.
But she hung with the rest of them.
Which is really
It
funny
worked.
because if you watch early on in that first season, they actually pretended to have her character be older than all of them by a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow,
and then
that's
eventually she
funny.
went back to being the same age as all of them. But yeah, so like she was dating a surfer and quit school and came to Hawaii with him, and he promptly cheated on her, which is the spark of her and Peter's connection.
Right.
The move she pulls off to get him into the celebrity suite at the hotel in front of Sarah is an all-time cool person move.
Yeah, but that is like
way beyond belief.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably where it really jumps the shark more than anything else.
Yeah, like that and getting.
It's like, how is this like a mom and pop resort? Like,
unless they had
how
made
tight
her,
are you with this organization?
like if they
what?
had made her the hotel manager, she might have been able to pull that off.
But clearly, I feel like it was not the situation.
No. Like
If she's getting the hostess job at the luau later on, like you're not that high up.
Yeah, just clean the place. You just have to clean it yourself, and everything's cool. I'm like, no.
Yeah. There's no way. Especially
yeah.
for the amount of money and corporate stuff that's there. That's what I was like, this better be a mom and pop stuff because like there's no way.
Turtle Bay is owned by Hilton right now. I don't know if it was then, but yeah, it's not a mom and pop.
No way. Yes. Agreed.
Anyway, oh yeah, I gotta say, but anyway, regardless, still super cool. Like an amazing thing to do for another.
It's
human
what
being.
you'd want in that situation for sure. So it's
The
kind of
only
like
other
the
part of the
dream
movie that
reality
feels
thing.
like total fantasy is getting your ex-girlfriend to ask you back and to apologize for everything. It's like, oh, that is quite the fantasy right there.
Yeah, for
one
sure.
we've all had.
I mean, you kind of see it somewhat in that situation to like how much of a train wreck it went for her in that situation.
Right.
But yeah, no, totally.
I'm just saying, it's like that's a fantasy everyone who's ever broken up with someone has ever had.
For
But
sure.
regardless, back to Kristen Bell's character. I'm sorry, Mila Kunis' character.
Yeah.
She'd probably be an amazing karaoke partner because she knows how to hype you up. Dracula musical.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah, she does the whole thing. It is funny. It was like out of context. I think this is like the wrong thing to play, and then she just belts out like, "No,
Dracula musical." Yeah,
it's funny, and you gotta love how like I do like how her immediate reaction is everyone else's in the bars like, what the like this is not good, but then she immediately gives you that laugh and. It's weird because like at first you can kind of see this as like she's laughing at him, but then you can kind of see it as like, no, this is pretty damn funny.
Right, and
when
then
you see other people having similar reactions, that's kind of when you get it. But
and later on, when he does his Dracula musical, he's like, "Yeah, I didn't realize it was a comedy until somebody helped me out."
Right,
and it unlocked everything for him. Russell Brand as Aldous Snow. That's a career-defining performance. for Russell Brand.
It entered into the American market, really, for sure.
Yeah.
It was not an American comedian or whatever beforehand. Was he a radio jockey in London? I can't remember what it was.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but it was such a performance that it got him a sequel for the character, which is also pretty funny.
Not really a sequel because
I think it's a sequel.
He's playing Aldous Snow, but like Jonah Hill is back playing a completely different character. So it's
I think it's the same thing. They're just kind of ignoring that character aspect, or that's the same actor. I think it's the same universe.
I haven't seen Get Him to the Greek since theater.
I ended up buying it.
Did you?
I don't think I've seen it since I bought it, which was not too long after it was
Good purchase.
I mean, I remember it being pretty funny. The only thing that's made me
remember liking it too, but
reluctant to go back is there's this whole P. Diddy stuff going on in that movie that makes me not really.
Well, that's just recent. Russell Brand has been outed as a complete asshole
for sure
for much longer. So then we found out about
that's a good
P.
point.
Diddy being a complete utter monster.
Right. It's a little different, but yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
It's definitely made me less interested in revisiting.
Sure.
But anyway,
it's a funny. But I just to show you how well he was in that movie that it led to getting his own movie.
And then he had Arthur on top of that. And that was about it for him.
For sure. Yeah. And then
Show on FX and
did his own kind of podcast, kind of video thing. Whatever is kind of where he's at.
Born again Christian asshole. Grifter.
Well, I mean, I guess that's probably why it worked, because it's like his actual self and the character is not that far apart. And that's probably why it worked. But
anyway,
yeah.
Bill Hader as Peter's stepbrother Brian. We've already covered everything that's great about him in this movie. I think he's like Peter's only friend.
He's a stepbrother too, but it's there's something to that, right? But obviously,
I thought that was key to the character there. But he was Bill Hader. It's early in Bill Hader's career. And
it really is.
My God, did he just knock it out of the park.
I want to say this is pretty early on for him, like in movie roles, right? I mean, although he had Tropic Thunder in the same year.
Right, but this is a much bigger part.
Right, much bigger part. And then, what was it? The Skeleton Twins or something like that. He had some
that came afterwards. Yeah,
it was after. So it was like a slow build. I'm trying to remember when this fit when he started doing South Park stuff too. But anyway,
I don't know about that. But
it took a while for him to be like one of the best SNL characters too. So it wasn't right away.
Jonah Hill as Matthew the waiter.
Really good.
Okay, I'll go fuck myself. Incredible stuff from him.
I agree. It's another one where I feel like you kind of feel that emotion.
Yeah.
In certain moments, you're just like, oh, all right. I'll just.
I love like the "I want to die" look. Like, I can't believe I failed you when Aldous and Sarah come up for dinner, and he's already given away the last table to.
Oh yeah, it's like it's
Peter
okay.
and Rachel.
You don't have to cry or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not crying.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. Paul Rudd is Kunu, aka Chuck, the surfing instructor.
Weather outside is weather. I'm
just
good on that one.
Just pop it in for a couple days, throwing 100 miles per hour. It's like, all right, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, right? He has a leading man role in this year, and he has such a small bit part too in the same year. But I guess it's kind of his upward trajectory.
Well, this cast is incredible. I mean, it's all like everyone here could lead their own. Well, except for maybe Jack Breyer, but everyone else could lead their own thing, but everyone is amazing in it. It's nuts. Jack McBrayer as the honeymoon guest who is scared, confused virgin. Darnell. He's
Darnell.
Darnell. He's hilarious. He's amazing.
He's really funny. So Billy Keanu. I forget which one it was.
Kimu.
Yeah, Keanu was really funny. And
Dwayne, the bartender, we already talked him up and how amazing he was.
Yep.
Billy Baldwin. William Baldwin, underrated Baldwin brother, in my opinion.
And then you get Bateman at the end, which is a nice little bit.
Rocking the Caruso sunglasses.
You gotta love that.
And Animal Instincts as Sarah's partner.
Up the two of them for couples
retreat. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's an animal psychic. I gave this category a 5. This is a perfect score movie for me. It's a perfect movie.
Have
20.
Have you given a perfect score?
First one that we've done so far as a show.
I gave it a 4.
Okay.
So I have it as a 16.5. So I have it as my second.
Okay. I can live with that.
I would hope you would.
I respect your wrong opinion.
You son of a...
This movie's starting off with Cake's Love You Madly, a Cake song even Tim likes. A+ move.
That's funny. I do. I'm limited in Cake. That's for sure. But they have some great songs.
Jason Segel wrote this movie based off of his breakup with Linda Cardellini.
Although I read it was a
three other women.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Aldous.
Wow. Sorry.
Aldous,
you had it number 1, right? Sorry.
Yes. It's a perfect 20. So
that's ridiculous. That's the first time I think ever that you've given a perfect score.
So either one of us have given a perfect score.
Well, yeah, I don't think I've given it at all one yet. But
I stand by it.
Wow.
You know what? Watching this again, I was like, this is a movie I'm going to rewatch forever. It's perfect.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Aldous Snow is written with Charlie Hunnam in mind. Jason Segel and him had met at Undeclared. Jason Segel played Carla Gallo's ex-boyfriend on this show.
I haven't watched that show in forever. It was really good.
It was really good.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
But this is the same time where Charlie Hunnam must have booked Sons of Anarchy because they both premiered in the same year. Okay. So he couldn't do it. But
nor should he have.
It would have been a different character, I think.
Probably.
I think they rewrote it when Russell Brand came onto the scene.
Yeah.
Roger Ebert loved this movie.
Oh, wow.
Gave it 3.5 stars.
By the way, do you remember the part where Aldous Snow is trying to compare awful experiences with Sarah? And he's like, well, I had a girlfriend once.
Liam and Noel Gallagher had a go with her in front of me, so I kind of know where you're coming from.
It's not the same thing, but you know.
Yeah. Roger said, in the movie's moral universe, there are no irredeemable bad people, just those afflicted to various degrees with shallowness, immaturity, selfishness, obliviousness, ambition.
Wow.
I have been reading Roger Ebert reviews for all of this season.
Yeah. Well, all seasons, I feel like you really go into it, but yeah.
Not all of them. But this one, he didn't even have reviews for everything.
Oh,
but
okay.
This was the best written review that I have I've read from Roger since we've been doing this show.
Done, at least?
Yeah, for this show. He gets all the facts right, which is I've never seen him do that before while doing this.
Connected with him.
He loved it. He really did.
Only adds to your argument then, huh?
I recommend reading it. I was really impressed. He really loved this movie. This movie had a budget of $30 million and a worldwide gross of $105.8 million. Just another Judd Apatow movie making over $100 million.
That was the era, right? He was just churning them out of movies he was connected to.
But it debuted at number 2. That week it came out, losing to The Forbidden Kingdom.
That's upsetting.
Which was a Jackie Chan Jet Li movie.
That's upsetting.
Featuring some white boy as the lead. I think it was the kid from Sky High.
It's really upsetting.
Yeah. Well, in the end, this movie made more domestically.
Okay.
It's
kind of hard to beat Jackie Chan.
Forbidden Kingdom did win more international because it's Jackie Chan.
It's Jackie Chan. And you said and Jet Li? I don't think I've seen the movie, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a kid's movie. So,
I don't want to see this movie.
I never wanted to. The other movie coming out that week was a documentary about education with Ben Stein. Called Expelled.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still going to rewatch this movie. So, it's a great movie.
Screening Sarah Marshall. Perfect.
It's It's an interesting top list, but I think a lot of them match up. There's a few discrepancies, but I think our top 5 is pretty close. But we'll talk more about it, I think, in our finale, because we're done, everybody.
It's over.
That's it. And we'll talk about next seasons in the next episode. So you got anything else to add?
Nope. That's it.
All right, that is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, where you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Okay, I'll go fuck myself then.
Fair enough.
Aloha, bitches.